So as I was starting to say, it's exposing the petri dishes to microwave is a kind of like it's symbolic to the what's going on Earth right now. We know that, as we spoke about it in the past, we are on a gradual environment change that part of it is exposing humanity to all sort of radiation with it's like with shorter and shorter wavelengths. Like alpha rays and then beta rays and gamma rays and etc. With the purpose of I guess the purpose is perhaps to convince the ruler of the earth to stop conversation with Israel and start moving arms and legs in order to rescue me and my daughters from the Nazi prison. But I'm kind of starting to lose faith that this will actually happen, because the ego is very strong on the face of Earth. So what will actually happen is a gradual sterilization of mankind. But as I said, many people are already in any way on board with this political project. So we don't need to be too sad about it. So yes, we're back to the experiment. So we will see how microwave affects the neos, and this leads me to the last experiment that I thought about. A new kind of experiment. So actually, I was trying to prove that the neos are actually able of symbolic thought, and that they can reproduce or paint objects without actually touching it. So I was trying to formulate in my mind an experiment that will prove it, and I came up with something that will actually prove something that is even much more important, even though it's something that I think was already indirectly proven many times, but not in a direct way, which is the idea of Vivo ex nihilo. Something that I mentioned before. Just in several words, I will say that throughout history until a couple of hundred years ago, humans saw that life could be created from non-living material. Especially insects could be generated from trash or something like that. And only a couple of hundred years ago, it was proven that vivo ex vivo, meaning that life could only be resulted from other life. And so everything that is lived came from another living thing which was identical to it. This, of course, this idea was a little bit changed in the 19th century, following the introduction of evolution, and which allowed for things to be created out of living things, but with small changes. And in the 20th century, the mechanism that actually allows that was also described, which is of course genetics, and the idea of mutation was based on the idea of imperfect copies. So when life creates life, it creates an imperfect copy of the genome, and this allows mutation to come to existence, and sometimes the mutation survive and even replace the non-mutated form as the dominant specimen of the species, of the dominant form of the species. So it was only proved, I think, in the 18th century, something like that, that life can only be created from life, and the experiments were actually very similar to what I am going to do, experiments that I designed in my mind today, which, as I said, initially I was thinking about a way to prove that the neurons are capable of symbolic thought, but this will also prove the idea of vivo ex nihilo, meaning that exactly the opposite of what the 18th century scientists proved. And the nice thing that actually the experiment will be very similar, but I'll speak about it later because I need to speak on the phone with my daughters now. So I'll describe the experiment later. But it will be very, I'll use several glass glass dishes, sealed dishes, and I will show you how life could actually be generated from non-living material, and it will be amazing. Vivo ex nihilo. Okay, bye for now.